excuse me, Crystal DJ Smiles brought me down a delicious piece of salmon to the studio to eat before my show, but unfortunately I'm having to rush it and not get to enjoy it as much as I would like, but it's freaking delicious. Mm. I'll go on the air, I think, in about 5 minutes. On the radio, anyway. I have JaNice VanNess on the show tonight. She is she's the Republican candidate. She is the Republican candidate for the Georgia State Senate, District 43. She's going to come on. We'll talk about her history a little bit, how technology has changed or affected the way she's campaigned. JaNice used to be one of my county commissioners. So that'll be an interesting conversation. She has a runoff election coming up on December 1st, so I'm going to try to get some voters interested. Salmon from Crystal. Delicious. Not Crystal, the place, Crystal, Scotty's wife, DJ Smiles. Salmon from Crystal would be disgusting. Salmon from Crystal upstairs is delicious. Okay. Done with that. Put this up. What's going on here? Damn it. All right, I don't know. I got a video from Keith and I don't know what he's saying. It's probably going to be terrifying. Dick. No, I do not mean salmon. It's salmon. Always has been salmon. Always will be salmon. And, well, that's that. All right, so again, I don't know what I'm going to be talking about. Apparently, Apple Pay launched in 110 different countries today. So go get your payments on. I got a bunch of stories in this list, and I have no idea which one to talk about. I think I'm going to start with password managers. Same as I said last week. Danny, I said to you last week we would talk about password managers, so why don't you go ahead and call in for the start of the show, and we'll do a bunch of that. I'll get through the intro. I'll answer the phone when you call, but I'll get through the intro and then say hi. Well, good evening, everyone. It is 7-ish on a Tuesday, so it's Tech Talk. I'm your host, Alex, XanderMac, whichever you prefer. XanderMac on all of the social things, by the way. Twitter, Facebook is blah, 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 /XanderMac. Obviously, the Tech Talk page.
What's up?
Hey, Dan, we got a phone call already. Danielle, hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I was just saying good evening to everybody. Tonight, I have a guest coming on, JaNice VanNess, who is the Senate candidate for the Georgia 43rd District. They have a runoff election coming up on December 1st. And I asked JaNice if she would come in and talk to my audience, introduce herself, talk about how technology has shaped the way candidates are running campaigns these days. So that'll be interesting. Now, I don't know what time JaNice is coming in. I believe it will be before 8:15 at the latest. So when she arrives, I will cut to a commercial quickly and get situated and then come back on and we'll do the interview. Dan, how are you?
Good. I should apologize. You said that you were going to do the intro and then for me to say hi. But because I'm on slow mountain time and slow or central time, whatever time I'm on, and really slow Minnesota internet.
Yeah, that's right.
I see you probably more like a minute behind. So I'm sorry. I didn't realize that you were on the air when I just butted in.
Oh, that's
so
fine.
Hi, everybody. I'm good. How are you doing?
That's fine. I'm glad you're on the phone, actually. Because how am I doing?
Yes.
You know, I'm good. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Always.
Awesome.
Had a lovely bit of salmon. I was saying on YouTube before the show, I'm eating a delicious piece of salmon from Crystal. Not Crystal.
I gagged when you said that.
Yeah,
by the way.
and I thought, wait a second, no, that sounds bad. Not Crystal, the restaurant, from Crystal DJ Smiles, Scotty's wife. She made me a delicious piece of salmon, which I wolfed down prior to the show. So I'm full. I have a pint of Guinness, have my show notes, my microphone, and all these electronics to mess up. So should be a good night.
Yeah, so we're good.
Yeah.
We're rolling.
Yeah. Actually, I'm glad you called in because we touched briefly on password. We were talking about long passwords, and we touched briefly on password managers. And I said we'll talk about it more this week when we have more time. I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember that.
Okay.
I have it in my notes from last week.
Okay. So The reason for password managers, well, ideally, in a perfect world, you would have a password that is 256 characters long, a different password for every single website or account that you own, and they would be uncrackable, right? Say 256 characters with 256-bit AES encryption could never be, well, it would be cracked eventually, but it would take decades. The problem with that is that it is awful difficult to keep that in your head unless you're Rain Man.
Right.
You know, I think probably the most people do, I imagine I'm going to research this during a break, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say your average human being could remember at the most 20 unique complicated passwords. And by complicated, I mean a random grouping of 8 letters, characters, and numbers together. So I'm going to say your average human, well, 20 is probably too high, but I'll go out on a limb and say 20 unique random letter, number, character passwords. And that's, in my opinion, that's not enough. I have hundreds of websites and accounts and things that I've logged into over the years. And it's obviously impossible to have a unique, complicated password for each one. So in come password managers. Now, it used to be before password managers, I did the same thing everybody else did. I picked a password and I used it pretty much everywhere. And I've kind of gotten lucky. I've had a few instances where the companies have contacted me and said, "Oh, your password's been it's been compromised and you need to go change it." Problem with that is if you're using the same password at every website, you then need to change your password on every single website. So I've had to do that. I've had to, and I think after the third time of doing that, after the third compromise and the third time I've gone through all of these sites trying to, updating my password to a new one, I said, there has to be a better way. And the better way is using a password manager. So I use a Mac, and really the only option on a Mac was a program called 1Password by a company named Agile Bits, which sounds awful, to be honest. Ooh, Agile Bits. But yeah, I'm assuming they mean bits as in bits of computer code, and not your bollocks.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, but you never know. Maybe they have agile testes. Who knows?
Right.
So
that's their business.
It is
their business.
It is, as long as they're secure or kept securely away, we're fine. So anyway, Agile Bits 1Password was pretty much the only game in town on the Mac. So I purchased it. It was at the time I bought my license, I think it was $50. It was $49.99. Since then, I've been able to purchase upgrades, which are around $25 or $30. $49.99. And all right, so let me try to explain what it does. Remember, this is on your computer, not on your cell phone yet. On the computer, when it ties in, it puts links in with your browsers. So I use Safari or Chrome. So when I installed 1Password, it said, "Do you want to install these browser extensions?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely, sure." So then I would go to a website, and when I got to the login screen, 1Password would offer up a prompt that said, do you want me to remember this username and password? And I would say, sure, absolutely. And so 1Password would create an entry for that. So if it was, for example, Facebook, and it was Fred Blogs at twats.com, and the password, nipples or whatever, it would save that as an entry under Facebook. And in order to initially populate 1Password, I had to do this for all of my existing accounts. And I did it over time. Obviously, they got added as I went to those websites. 1Password was saved them. And from that point on, after you've saved everything you already have accounts for, whenever I go to a site and I create a new account somewhere, again, 1Password is smart enough to realize this. And generally when you sign up for an account, they ask you for a bit of information. 1Password will fill in your name, email, address if it's needed, even credit card information if you let it, if it's needed for that particular site, such as Amazon. It will create a unique password for you. You can tell it how complicated, so you can tell it how many characters total, how many of those characters should be uppercase letters, how many should be lowercase letters, how many should be numbers, symbols, etc. I have mine, I believe, defaults to 12 characters, with a combination of letters, numbers, symbols, at least 2 numbers, at least 2 symbols, and at least 1 uppercase letter. And it will not generate the same code twice either. So now whenever I start a new account, that automatically gets filled in, and I know that that's a unique, safe password for that site. Oh, in addition, a lot of sites have requirements now for minimum password strength, and you can match those with 1Password also. So if a site tells you have to have, if your site tells you it has to be exactly 8 characters, for example, I can jog mine down to 8 and set the other parameters specific to that site and get a password for just that site. So anyway, then I've got my existing passwords, anything new that's coming up. Here's a nice feature about 1Password. It has also in the application has a built-in browser. And when you visit a site that you have a saved login in the built-in browser and you go to, say, change password on the site, 1Password can do that for you automatically. It can plug in your existing password, create a new one, plug that in, save the website, automatically save it back to your passwords, and it makes changing or updating your password really simple, like a matter of seconds. So I have virtually everything other than forums, which I don't care about. Forums are just a place where I go to play. Don't get me wrong, my password for forums is actually quite difficult, but it's probably the only one I do remember in my head for a long password. So everything other than those I changed. I've updated everything. In addition to that, by the way, I will say any website that offers 2-factor authentication, I also have that turned on, and we'll talk about that in a minute too. So Dan, that's how I use a password manager. That's the password manager I use. Those are the very basic context in which I use a password manager. And now these run on my iPhone. It runs on my tablet. It runs on Windows machines. I do think they have a version for Windows Mobile or whatever they call it now. I don't know. I'm not 100% on that, so don't quote me. But that's what I use. That's why I use it. And last week you said you didn't do any of that. Right?
Yeah.
So are you the way I was? You have maybe a rotation of 5 or 6 passwords and you use them for different things?
Yes.
But you ultimately have a number of sites out there that have the same password.
Yes.
Okay. Now, obviously, you would be a prime candidate to have a password manager. Well, of course, everybody is a prime candidate to have a password manager.
Well, and as we sort of touched on last week, I mean, I said it kind of tongue in cheek, but I mean, I'm literally sitting here looking at Post-it notes stuck on the front of my computer of websites that have a version or like a completely different password or a version of the password that I wouldn't come up with. Like, you know what I mean? Like that I've had to change it. So, it's not my go-to password or go-to password number 2.
Right.
So I've had to write it down and then I, stick it on my computer.
Yeah. Well, did you look into password managers this week?
For like a minute.
Okay, shame. You're lucky you didn't get hacked this week.
Right. I mean, because then I saw something shiny and went on to something else. You know what I did do, which is really kind of meaningless, is I did some reading on, because you and I had talked about Facebook and how completely nefarious they are. And because of conversations we have had and things you've talked about on the show, and an article that I had read that we talked about some sort of backroom things that Facebook's doing. I've completely removed all of my Facebook apps. And then just, to kind of try to figure out other ways to make that, I mean, it's Facebook, so it's not, not like it's all that important, but to make that more secure. And there are, you probably know, two-factor authentication.
Yeah. I said, I use two-factor on every site that I use that supports it.
I had no idea Facebook had all that stuff. I mean,
yeah. And now I'm not an expert on two-factor authentication but there are a number of ways of handling it. It can be as simple as a code being sent to you via text message, or you can use an authenticator app, which so you would, I'll use Dropbox as an example. I would go to Dropbox, I would log in, I would go to the settings and the security preferences and enable two-factor authentication. And it would ask me, do you want to use your mobile phone or an authenticator app? And I would say authenticator app, and I use one called Authy. There's also Google Authenticator, which they're both available on iOS and Android. Other platforms do exist, but they're worthless. So I use Authy. Now, what you do, Dropbox would show me this barcode thing. Those square scannable things. You know what I mean,
QR
right?
code.
QR codes. Thank you. It would show me a QR code. I would scan that with my Authy application. It would add that to my app. And now each time I go to log in, I open Authy, which generates a brand new 6-digit code every 60 seconds. And you have to have that 6-digit code in order to be able to log into the site. The only place you can get that 6-digit code is on my phone, because that particular account is tied to Authy on my phone. It cannot be deleted. It can't be removed. And I need to find out what happens when I have to restore it, because if I switch phones, for example, or ever switch phone numbers, I should say, phones shouldn't be a problem as long as I have my phone number and I can verify any additional codes. I should be fine. But that's what, so two-factor is, something and something you have. In my case, I know my username and password, and I have my cell phone. My cell phone can receive text messages, iMessages, push messages. It can run Authy, and I can even get codes on my watch. So that's how two-factor works. So I theoretically could sit here on the air, tell everybody my username and password to Facebook, and they still would not be able to log in, because Facebook would ask them for the two-factor or the authentication code. And because they don't have my phone, they cannot log in.
That's only the first time a new device is logged in, right?
Only if you tell it to remember that device.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, you can, the checkbox, do you want to remember this browser, or do you want to remember this device? I remember the devices that are in my physical presence, my iPad and my phone, but nothing else. Even my computer at home, I don't remember the browser there, because, what if somebody breaks in and steals the computer? Do you see what I'm saying? Now, now somebody may say, well, if they break in and steal your computer, they also have your password database. Well, this is where everything either falls apart completely or works perfectly. You have to have a master password for your password. You know what? We're coming up on a break here. We're going to take this, then we'll come back and I'll tell you how it might fall apart. All right, Dan, we're on a break.
We actually hit a break.
Yeah, well, I was 40 seconds out, but I wasn't going to have enough time to I wasn't going to have enough time, obviously, to finish what I was saying.
Right. We miss those all the time, though.
I know.
I'm excited that we actually hit a break.
I know. Hang on, I need to send a tweet to Kroger. I like shopping at Kroger. Do you have Kroger up there?
We don't.
That's awful.
We have Cub Foods and Super One.
Oh, I remember Cub Foods.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a long
Cub
time.
Foods,
Cub
Super
Foods
One.
left here a
And
long
then,
time.
yeah. It's not like it was a warehouse, wasn't it? Wasn't it like kind of warehouse-ish? It's not warehousey here. It's like a regular grocery store.
Yeah, here it was sort of warehousey. You're right.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, it's just a regular grocery store here. And then we have Target and Walmart has groceries. But that's pretty much it.
I'm sorry. I am tweeting Kroger with vital information. Guess what this vital information relates to? Guinness.
What?
It relates to Guinness. So I stopped by Kroger to pick up some Guinness. And I always get if I don't buy a keg, I have to buy the cans, or at least
right.
I'm going to buy the cans because the cans have the nitrogen widget ball in them, and it's closest thing to pouring a draft Guinness. Well, all they had at my Kroger for the last 3 weeks are bottles of Guinness, and those are unacceptable.
Oh.
So I tweeted them earlier and I said, could you please stock 8 packs of Guinness draft in my local store? All they have are bottles, and those are the work of Satan. So Kroger replied to me, and they've asked me to direct message them and tell them which Kroger and they're gonna share my concerns with the manager, whatever that means.
Either that or they'll have the SWAT team there.
Yeah, maybe.
When you show up.
Maybe.
One or the other. Something's gonna happen for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Possibly.
I have some grammar annoyances. I used one intentionally on Kurt earlier, and I knew I should have texted it to you. I've completely forgotten what it was.
Right.
It was like right up there with irregardless, and I can't remember what it was. But I have one that bugs me, and I have a local colloquialism for you.
Ah, a Minnesotaism.
Yeah. It's actually a Wisconsinism.
Oh, Wisconsinism. I can't.
Yeah.
Well, I can't do either accent, but I think Wisconsin.
No, you can't. But that's okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I wrote those down for you.
All right, we'll
to remember to share on the show.
That's okay. I'm going to finish, obviously, talking about password managers.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
and I have an app of the week.
Because see, I was going to ask, was your app of the week a password manager? Apparently, it wasn't.
No.
Because I downloaded. I already have a password manager, but I downloaded 2 others just to try them.
And here's the rest of what I was going to say about that. And I don't know if we want to say this. Well, I guess I am on the air. That stuff is really, like, I really started reading on it. And of course, I'm probably going to go with what you use because that's how I defer to you and Keith and Kurt on things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, like, intimidating reading. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of stuff out there.
Well, let me tell you, do you ever use a computer? Like a PC? Do you use a desktop PC?
Yeah, all the time.
Right.
I mean, it's a Mac. I use
1Password. Okay, well then I will tell you what it will cost you to get into 1Password. Welcome to Agile Bits. Store. 1Password version 4 for Windows is $49.99. Like I said, the initial purchase price $49.99. And 1Password for Android is free on Google Play, but it will have in-app purchases to unlock the whole thing.
Okay.
So, like I said, it's It's the same as when I first got into 1Password. I guess they don't really reduce their upfront. I guess that they don't really reduce their upfront pricing, but they always have specials when it comes to upgrades and things like that.
Okay.
Let me see. On Android, it is free, but what are the in-app purchases? Where would I find that? I don't know.
When would those come up, like when you go to use it, like inside the apps? Like, I don't really get that.
Well, an in-app purchase, it would just be a one-time purchase to unlock every feature. So it's probably, the free version is probably feature limited. You know, it may say
Gotcha.
only let you save 10 passwords.
Oh, you know what it'll do?
Or it may only
so
it may limit you to 1 or 2 categories.
Okay.
Now, but what I
so then once you're
thought, sorry, what I thought they offered was a bundle for Windows and Android, for example, in one price, but they do not appear to. Oh well. So yeah, $50 on Windows and free on Android. It's probably $10 to unlock, $5 or $10 to unlock the entire app. That, I know that's what it was for me. It was either $5 or $10. Actually, when I got it, it wasn't even free. You had to buy it. Then they went to a freemium model to let people try it, so that they could purchase
gotcha.
it. They could purchase it if they liked it. And of course, it's the best-selling password manager on iOS. It's really good. Yeah, but yeah, I downloaded a couple of others, free ones, and I found one that's actually very good for free. It's only well, I don't know if it's Android, but it's only on iOS. It's not on the Mac. And it's, well, that will be one of my, it'll be an app of the week sort of, but it'll continue in with our discussion on password managers.
Well, and don't talk now about it, but I don't know if you were already going to, but talk about the process too. Like, once you start using it, do you just go through everywhere you have passwords and do it, or do you sort of do it one at a time as those situations arise?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I'll go over that again, because I did say that.
Address
you
that,
obviously weren't listening.
Well, I mean, it was kind of overwhelming.
Oh, look at this.
I mean,
OneSafe is available on the Mac, the iPad, the iPhone, and Android. That's interesting. And it's actually quite good. It's the free password manager that I downloaded to try. And it's really quite good. All right, so that can be my app of the week. Yeah, I was really quite impressed.
My app of the week is about poop.
It will let you scan all of your cards, like your bank cards, your social security card, your carry permit, and things like that, and will keep an image of them in the application, which is nice. It supports password, fingerprint secure protection if your phone. I'll talk about it on the show.
Okay.
Which we will be back on in like 45 seconds.
Nice.
Now, of course, if JaNice shows up, I will have to go to a commercial and then cut, and I'll talk with JaNice, and maybe later on we'll get back to this.
Yeah, of course.
23, 22. I'm not going to count down all the way from there.
Because that's weird and annoying.
Yeah. Now I've lost my browser. There we go. All right, here we go. All right, we're back. It's Tech Talk. I'm Alex. On the phone, I have Danielle. Danny.
Hello. Hi.
So before the break, we were talking about password managers, and I believe I said there's a part of this equation where things either fall apart or go very, very well. Now, all of your passwords are contained in one application. and it is absolutely critical that you secure that application. This is the place where you're going to have one really, really difficult password. And there are tricks to creating these, but you have to have one super strong password to protect every other password. And if you forget it, you're done. So make it a hard to guess password, but an easy to remember. And the trick to that, for example, look over, I don't know, if you have a bookshelf, look on the bookshelf and take the first word from the first 10 books in the list and use that as your password. So they'll be completely random words, but it'll be the first word of the title of the first 10 books on your bookshelf will be your password. You will remember it because it's English words. They're just in a random order, but nobody will ever guess it. So I would suggest something like that. Now on your mobile devices, having a master password like that can be a bit of a pain, but in general, you're going to unlock your password manager with either a 4-digit PIN code or a thumbprint or fingerprint. Mine unlocks with a fingerprint. And if I ever reboot the phone, then I have to re-enter the master password. But again, it doesn't take that long. And it's worth, for me, it's worth the security to have that. So that's where it could all fall apart. It could all go tits up at that point. So bear that in mind, okay?
Yeah.
Now, so you asked about the ongoing process with it, and yeah, in fact, I'll tell you, because I downloaded a couple this week. I already have a password manager, obviously, but I wanted to download a couple of free ones to tell people about. One of the ones I really liked is called OneSafe, ONESAFE. And it's free. It secures with your thumbprint or a passcode, and it can be a 4-digit passcode or it can be a complex passcode. For this purpose, I just set it up with a 4-digit passcode and a thumbprint. And it's surprisingly well featured. It has categories the same as 1Password, so you can have, say, internet logins, you can have bank logins, you can have wallet items, you can have Wi-Fi network items. This one even lets you scan, or I should say photograph, your cards and IDs and save them as secure images inside of the application. So if, let's say, you leave the house accidentally without your driver's license and you get pulled over, you might get a friendly officer and you say, you know, I forgot my wallet, I'm an idiot, but I have a digital scan of my driver's license on my phone. Can I present you that? And in some cases, I imagine they'll say, sure, that's fine. So anyway, I got this new one, and I'm thinking, well, do I just start entering passwords as I remember them, or do I try to make this a little more, what's the word, organic? And so I went the organic approach, and each time I had to log into a website, instead of using 1Password like I normally would, I used the browser extension for OneSafe and set up my login in OneSafe instead, just to see how it went. And honestly, it's very similar to using 1Password, and it's free. It also includes what's called a decoy safe. A decoy safe allows you to set up a fake safe. And I'm not sure when this would ever come up, but let's say you get kidnapped and they order you to unlock your password manager. You can unlock the decoy safe instead, and it will present them with a bunch of fake items. Oh yeah. How's that?
Sorry.
Well, you know,
I forgot I was live.
listen, you never know when you're going to get taken hostage, right? So I'm about to do it.
But I'm not thinking they're going to want to, like, you know, check my phone for, like, nude selfies or something. Why would a kidnapper want me to unlock my phone?
You never know.
So they could call you, probably.
I mean, what if they want?
Like, hey,
what if they want to unlock your phone because they know that every single thing about your identity is on that phone?
Right. You're right. Yes, you're right. In all seriousness, you're right. Yeah.
Or they want to see if you have nudes or anything like that.
Right. Yeah. We might have nudes of Keith. Who knows?
That's right. That's right.
You never know what kind of valuable information I could have on my phone.
Exactly. So, you know, so it has a decoy safe. So yeah, I went the organic route, just entering logins, setting up logins as I went to individual sites on a rate, or, you know, on a daily basis, so to speak. And theoretically, over time, all of my logins would ultimately get added to OneSafe. Now OneSafe has backup options. Now we talked about this last week, and I'm not a huge fan of backups in the cloud. But if you use a long enough password, you may be safe storing your backup in the cloud. It does support cloud backup. It will back up to iCloud Drive, which is Apple's online backup storage. It will back up to Dropbox, or it backs up to something called CloudKit, which is apparently Apple's newest cloud technology, which is faster but has a size limit of 250 megabytes per item. Those are your three backup options with this. You can also export a backup. Well, I'm not sure what it exports it as, but you can, you say export backup, you enter a security key. Let's try one. Let's do, I'm just going to do a 6-digit code, which it considers a weak password. But anyway, you can enter a key. I'm going to do this again. I'm going to test this just to be thorough. Next. Oh, and then you can export this file to either iTunes. You can send it over Wi-Fi to, I guess, a computer, send it by email, or store it manually on iCloud Drive. And it exports it as an OSBX file. That's a OneSafe something or other. .OSBX. Oh, that's OneSafe, obviously. I don't know. I guess it's a proprietary format for them, but that's all you need. You know, as long as you have a backup of your data, you will be safe. Just remember your code to unlock the application. But yeah, as far as creating passwords in OneSafe, it gave you the option to create, you know, very, very complex or remarkably simple, easy to remember passcodes. You get the option of turning on capitals, lowercase numbers, and symbols. It doesn't tell you how many characters. It just tells you whether it's weak, like a 5-digit code is weak. It looks like 6-digit codes it considers fair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9-digit codes are good. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 18-digit codes are excellent. Anything above 18 is excellent. So I have all of the options except for symbols. And I will say I've actually, in a lot of cases, defaulted to turning symbols off because of a lot of websites will not accept them. I'll switch them on if the website will accept a password, a symbol. So let's say whatever, Yahoo. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And I just created I think 24-digit random letters, numbers, uppercase, lowercase letter password, which now every time I go to that website, it will fill in for me automatically. As long as I have my fingerprint, you know, I'll say log in, scan my fingerprint, it'll log me in. And Everybody should have one of these. Everybody needs to go get a password manager. If you want I think the most fully or the most capable, fully featured, I would recommend 1Password from Agile Bits, because it also works on all platforms. If you're just looking for something for your phone, I would recommend OneSafe. It is available on. It actually is available on the Mac. It's on the iPad, the iPhone, and Android. There is no Windows option whatsoever, no Windows Mobile or Windows PC. So again, if you want all your if you want your Windows PC, your tablet, your if you want everything, then use 1Password. That would be my recommendation. I did download a second one called Passable, which is really simple. I mean, almost the same thing, but with far fewer options. Let me just whip this open. It's now obviously you can create your logins as you would. I think this is designed for people who have, you know, maybe a dozen logins they want to keep track of, because there's no categories, there's no filing, everything's just in one list, and it's a very basic password manager. If that's all you're looking for is something super basic, try Passable, P-A-S-S-I-B-L-E. I don't know if that's on other platforms or not. For me, that's on iOS. Let me do a search for that real quick. Are you downloading 1Password or OneSafe? And yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking to you.
Okay, you're gonna wait until you get hacked, is what you're gonna do.
What?
I know. I'm just giving you. Well, I am giving you a hard time because you do need to get one of these. You really do. You need to protect yourself. You need to enable. You really need to enable two-factor authentication wherever you can. I use it on Dropbox, Facebook, Twitter. Oh gosh, I use it all over the place. Evernote, Google. All of my Google accounts are protected by two-factor authentication. Let me open Authy and see what's plugged into that. Or I use it all over the place.
I need 1Password, right? Not OneSafe, because OneSafe I can't use on my computer.
That's correct.
Correct?
Yeah. I mean, if you do want to use it everywhere on a Windows PC and all those places, then you need 1Password. And here's something else I would say. I would possibly get it on your phone first of all. Set up your passwords on your phone, and then make sure it's synchronizing somewhere. I'm not sure what the synchronizing options are on Android, but I imagine Dropbox is one of them. So I would at least set up one or two on the phone and synchronize it to Dropbox before you install it on your Windows PC. That way, when you install it on Windows, you can tell it use this file from Dropbox, and everything will synchronize, and you won't end up with any duplicates or overlaps or problems in that area.
I use Mac. I don't use a Windows PC.
You use a Mac? Okay, good. Then then you are going to use 1Password. So yeah, I would download it onto. But you use Android.
Yeah.
Sickening. You should download it onto your iPhone. And then download it.
Hey! Confusing me is not cute. Stop it.
Mm-hmm. So download it onto your phone first, I think. Well, what do you use most? Your phone, obviously. You use your phone a lot more than your PC. Yeah. So.
No, you know what? Well, I mean, obviously, I carry my phone with me, but I use my PC for work. Well, I mean, I'm going to do it on both. I'm going to do it on. But I'm downloading it on my phone as we speak.
Okay. Well, then then again, this is just a suggestion, but I suggest setting up at least one entry, making sure that it's syncing to wherever you want your backup to be. I personally use Dropbox, because my Dropbox is also two-factor authenticated, so I don't have any concerns about people breaking into that. So I synchronize to Dropbox, and then all of my devices synchronize to that Dropbox as well. My iPad gets its data from Dropbox. My Mac at home gets its data from Dropbox. It's all encrypted, 256-bit AES encryption. So it's good and safe. It's about as safe as we're ever going to be online. A combination of a password manager, strong unique passwords, and two-factor authentication. Honestly, that's about as good as it gets. What else? Is there anything I missed, do you think, when it comes to password managers?
So once I do that, do I need to go, what do I do? Like, do I need to go and like reset all my passwords, or? No,
you don't have to. It wouldn't hurt that, you know, if you have time and say you're on Facebook, it wouldn't hurt for you to reset your Facebook password and make it a much stronger password, but that's up to you. However, I would be more inclined just to enable two-factor authentication on Facebook so that, you know, your password is less important.
But on things like, and please don't make fun of me, but like on my bank and my credit cards and stuff that have that same lame ass.
Yeah, I would definitely change it there. I would definitely change it there. And I would do it from inside the browser in 1Password because it helps automate the process for you. Yeah, the reason I say I think go with two-factor authentication, because let's say Facebook gets hacked and a database of passwords gets stolen. They could have your password, right? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how complicated you made that password. If somebody steals it, they have it. Now, with two-factor authentication, that's no longer an issue because they cannot log in anyway. However, even without two-factor authentication, if you have unique passwords for every website, it doesn't matter if they get one of them. All you then have to do is change that one. All of your others are still, you know, long, difficult, you know, secure passwords for all your other sites. So would I change them? Yeah, over time. I'm not going to say go on a password changing binge, but maybe do the really important ones. You know,
like the financial ones.
Your finances and your email. Anywhere, you know, where you get emailed receipts and bank statements and things like that. You know, so do your emails and your now Google obviously has two-factor authentication. I would enable that for Google if you have Gmail or any Google services. It's doubtful that your bank has two-factor. Who's your bank? Is it a big old bank? Is a credit union? Yeah, it's highly doubtful that they have two-factor authentication, but you never know. You might get lucky. It doesn't hurt to look, and you should be able to go to your bank, log in, go to your security settings, and if they have it, it should say somewhere enable two-factor authentication. I think it's brilliant. I'm waiting for the day where everything is two-factor and it's all controlled by one thumbprint scanner on your phone. Excuse me, on your phone. There's no applications, authenticator apps to deal with or anything. It just says, oh, Alex is trying to, you know, your phone is looking at what you're doing on your computer. It knows you're trying to log into Amazon or buy something on Amazon. It says, oh, scan your thumb. Done. Boom. Whether that day will come, I don't know. Danielle, we are right on a break, like 20 seconds.
Well, let's break then.
Yeah, let's break. We'll be back in a few minutes. I'm going to count this all the way down to 1.
That won't be annoying at all.
I know, right? They can listen. They're loving this show. 1. All right.
My YouTube is just spinning.
Yeah. Yeah, Keith said it's buffering as well.
Oh, okay. So it's not me, it's you.
Well, I don't know if it's me on this end or if it's YouTube. But yeah, Keith also says it's buffering. No, see the YouTube broadcast going out seems Seems good.
Maybe we broke the internet.
Possibly.
I mean, we were dropping some heavy knowledge there. The internet might not have been able to handle it.
I know, right?
You never know.
Let me move that time.
One never
out of the way.
knows.
The time was hiding my just for fun logo behind me. That's bad. All right, so YouTube. I don't know why I'm texting him. Well, I do know why I'm texting him this time, because YouTube is spinning.
Yeah, I don't think I can get us up.
Have you tried going back out of YouTube and restarting the stream?
I logged all the way out.
Really?
But I mean, you know, my internet is like, I would blame my internet first before anything else.
That's Sam Broadcaster. That needs to be running. I don't know. You know, maybe maybe it's the internet on this end. But YouTube's not giving me any. YouTube's not giving me any. What's the word I'm looking for?
Reach around? Oh,
it's not giving me any.
We're not private.
Bollocks. What's the word?
Error messages?
Yeah, it's not giving me any errors. Thank you. Sorry. Hey, Google Cameraman, what is that? I don't know what I just did. Ooh.
Meet the new Google Plus.
Ooh, broadcast settings. As a guest, join, hide their audio. Oh, so I can have guests. I just don't know how.
We got to figure that out.
Yeah.
Not today, though, because it's been raining all day, and I look like a drowned rat.
Huh?
Maybe another day.
CPU meter. I just saw something called CPU meter. Is that it? Nope. Got a feeling I'm not the only one. Google Effects. That's not it, obviously. I can give myself a hat.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Like an Arge hat?
Did that work? That didn't work. Darn.
I can't see you. I don't know. It's really funny. I don't know why I watch you when we're talking, even though it's like a minute behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just watch for no reason at all. It's inexplicable.
All right. So,
I have to send you a picture. I took a picture. I was feeding the deer today. There was one so close I could throw a rock and hit it in the head. If it was throwing rocks and hitting deer in the head season.
oh yeah.
It's not.
All right. So I just turned off HD and set the video down a little ways. Let's see if that
Brings you back.
yeah.
I'm going to go out and go back in again.
Yeah, go out and go back in and see if that helps any. I'm going to grab a Guinness. Hold on.
Okay.
I think so with two-factor authentication because
Jonah, why don't you go see Daddy? Come here. You just left. Go see your daddy. Sam, can you say to the dogs? Can you call them? Call them.
Are you yelling at Kurt?
Yeah.
Everyone on YouTube just heard you yelling at Kurt. Well, actually, no, they didn't, because apparently no one can get back into YouTube.
Okay, good. I wasn't yelling at him. I was yelling to him to call the dogs. Because, well, first they heard me talking to the dogs, and then they would have heard me yelling for Kurt to take the dog.
All right.
So I would not be sad if that didn't go out.
Just buffering on there.
Oh, wait, what is that? There's like, well, you're probably looking at the same thing. Oh, there it is.
Okay, so Keith thinks he might be back in. So
Okay.
Keith might be back in. So I'm going to do this a little bit so that there's movement on camera, so that he knows if anything's actually going on.
I clicked something that said live now. Live stream. I don't know what's going on my end.
Okay, Keith says he's back in. So maybe if you back out and try again, because like I said,
Yep,
I lowered the video quality. I think maybe the internet on this end is struggling with a HD feed today. We shall see. Now JaNice should be here hopefully within the next 15 minutes. We shall see.
Oh, there we are.
Done with password managers. What do I want to? Oh shit! I should have thought about this before this song came on. What do I want to talk about? What did you want to talk about? You had words that piss you off.
Yeah.
What else?
I have an app called Places I've Pooped.
Really?
Yeah.
Places I've pooped.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you not want to talk about my Places I've Pooped app?
That's fine. Places I've pooped is okay. I can name the places I've pooped on one hand. My home. And work.
Ever?
And work. Probably in the last year. In the last year, I've probably only ever my home or work. I just can't do it. I can't use other people's bathrooms. They're awful. I mean, they're not awful, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe you don't.
Well, I mean, I understand the idea. Well, let's talk about this. Let's save it.
Okay.
Shall we? Unless you don't want to have a scatological conversation on your show.
Well, I mean, for me,
Which
mainly it's going to be about peeing. So,
Right.
Doesn't really matter. Are you back on YouTube?
I think so. Are you drinking something? Do you have something in your hand?
Keith has a little bit about browsers and passwords. Keith, here's what. I don't know if he'll be awake.
Do you want me to go and let him call?
Yeah. You want to call back in after JaNice though? Because I do want to do your poop.
Okay.
All right. Let's do that. Keith.
I'll come back.
All right.
Okay.
Bye. Keith.
Bye.
Go ahead and Keith, you go ahead and call in, and like I said, JaNice is supposed to be in by 8:15, but hopefully we can squeeze this in really quickly. And I'm showing 45 seconds till we're back from the break. I could always throw in another song. All right, we're back. Tech Talk on Just for Fun Radio. I'm Alex, XanderMac on all the social things. Danielle ran off, Like I said, JaNice VanNess is hopefully coming in this evening. She said she would try to be here by 8:15. In the meantime, Keith had something he wanted to go over on passwords and browsers. And Keith, you're probably quite good at all this security bollocks with your work and everything, right?
Well, to some extent. Hey,
Oh,
hey,
by the
everybody.
way, good evening, everybody. This is Keith. Keith, everybody.
We've been kind of texting back and forth, so it was like I was.
Yeah, it was like
in.
continuing a conversation. I forget sometimes.
A conversation that nobody else was involved.
Exactly. I forget that we're on the radio sometimes.
But I did have my lovely Guinness with my nitrogen ball widget.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of nice.
Guinness cans, lovely.
Yes. So and I tried to look for your sponsor's beer, and then you told me that they actually don't have a beer in the store. They're just a.
Well, no, they do have beers in the store on tap, and they sell growlers or the big glass jugs. And they they rotate their beers. They have guest beers in at different seasons. But
but not like at Kroger.
No, not like at Kroger. No, they sell growlers. They do micro beers, micro brew type.
I was very excited to go out and buy one of their beers, and then I found out they weren't at Kroger. So, and I'm in Lawrenceville, so it's a little bit of a hike for me to go out to.
Yeah,
Conyers.
It is. Well, when you are out here, we'll swing by Gravity and pick up a growler or something. We'll get pissed.
Definitely. I'd love to try it. Anyway. So we have this application at work that has a component that requires an administrator to put in a login and password.
Yes.
And that's not abnormal for certain things, like let's say a manager to do something or that sort of thing. But what we found was with IE11. And this was kind of a progression of discovery that the password, the browser actually prompts you to remember that password. So let's say, for example, you're the person that's doing whatever task it is, and you require my password. Well, if I just go in and type my username and password, hit enter, submit, or OK, or whatever it is I hit, there's now in IE11 a menu that pops up that says, do you want to remember this password? And if you select yes, then from that point forward in that browser, it will remember the password.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and in the pre-IE11 world, that did not happen. It didn't save the password and that sort of thing. There's a directive in HTML that says, for this page, do not remember the password. Mm-hmm. And of course, our application has that directive set. And I found out that actually it started with Chrome and Firefox saying, hey, we're no longer going to recognize this directive. And in fact, what we're going to do is offer to remember the password no matter whether that directive is there. And things like your bank sites will say, don't remember the password. Well, now Chrome, Firefox, and now IE11 are no longer remembering these are no longer obeying the directive and are offering to remember the password.
Yeah. And I used to use that feature all the time on the Mac and on my iOS devices prior to using a password manager. Since then, I've disabled it. Now in Chrome and Safari, you can turn that off. If you go to if you go into your Chrome settings,
and you can turn it off in IE as well. But a lot of corporations use IE, and they would have to turn it off at the group policy level.
That's how we do that at work. It's disabled at the group policy level.
And it disables it for the entire browser, Like
That's correct.
It's kind of either you can offer to remember passwords or you cannot offer to remember passwords.
That is correct. On now, I say I have it disabled, but not necessarily not. On my iPhone, I believe I do have it enabled to prompt me, and I have the option of saving them or not saving them on a per website basis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was a big realization for us because there's a security component to it that a lot of people weren't prepared for.
Yeah.
And so you know, we have that to deal with, but it kind of, in researching the issue, I found that a lot of bank websites, and I actually had for a small period of time, I had one of the major banks, Bank of America, as my mortgage holder, and I could never figure out why they gave me one page for my user ID and one page for my password. It seemed silly. And the reason they do that is to get around this problem, because they originally said don't remember passwords. Well, now all the browsers ignore that. And so now what they do is they give you your username on one page, your password on the next page, and that disassociates your username with your password, so they can't offer to remember it.
Yeah, I can see how that's a bit of a nightmare for system administrators.
Yeah, and it's only a matter of time before the browsers will figure that out and change their policy. But I think the browsers, you know, to your point of password management, the browsers are making it so much easier for the people who are maintaining weak passwords. You know, I mean, I don't know how many times I've been in Chrome and gone onto a website and it started automatically filling in all my information from a different website.
Yeah.
You know, including usernames, passwords, email addresses, everything. Like my address, you know, everything is automatically filled in. And I think that you know, you're definitely onto something that you know, people need to adopt as quickly as possible with this you know, password management system.
Yeah, I think so. You know, every library now has a web terminal, and people use those. And I see people doing weird shit on those, shopping and banking and on public terminals. You've got to be especially careful on anything public, and anytime you're on public Wi-Fi. Anytime you're on public Wi-Fi as well.
I mean, I'm worried in public about scanners. I can't imagine going to a library and doing my banking.
Oh no, there's no way. Not me, but some people do.
I mean, okay, fine. Go Facebooking or Twitter or Instagram. Who cares, right? Mm-hmm. You know, if you hack my Facebook, wow, big deal. You get access to my pictures.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have two-factor authentication turned on Facebook?
I will be turning that on as soon as I do some investigation on which app I'm going to choose. I did have a password manager, but all it does, I've had it for years.
Yeah.
And it was, you're going to laugh, it was actually an app I bought.
No way. See,
I purchased this app.
I was about to say you're the perfect candidate for OneSafe because it's free. However, the only drawback to OneSafe is that there's no PC version, but you have a Mac. Do you still have a Mac laptop?
I do.
So OneSafe, I believe, had a Mac version as well. I don't know if that's free. I honestly, maybe that's something you could look into for us. See if the Mac version is free and let us know how that goes.
I still occasionally use the Mac just for, you know, things I can't do on the iPad or the Android phone.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's I can only think of two apps that I've purchased, and that's one of them. It's called eWallet, and it's very rudimentary.
Oh God, I know.
I mean, I've had it for years.
Yeah, I had eWallet. I got it initially back when I was on Windows Mobile. Then I purchased a license when I was on BlackBerry, and after the BlackBerry, I forgot all about it because it may have eventually come to the iPhone. Yeah, I do remember eWallet. That was a long time ago. It didn't do any logins for me though. Like for example, 1Password will create passwords and log in for me and things like that. And eWallet never did any of that, did it?
No. All it does is store a URL, login, and password, and you have to type it all.
That's right. That's right.
I think you can click the URL, but you have to type the login and password yourself. It's very, very rudimentary, but I've had it for probably 10 years.
Okay, so it is on iOS. It's the same company. Yeah. It's still owned by Ilium Software or Loom Software.
Ilium,
yeah, Ilium or something.
Danielle is very shocked that I bought an app, by the way.
Yeah, it's still owned by them. It's $10 on Mac OS, iOS. Sorry, but what does it? Well, it does do cloud backups now, and it will synchronize with the Mac application over Wi-Fi, random password generator, but and it will do automatic password entering through the built-in browser. So
so maybe I can actually investigate using it further.
Now that's on iOS. I don't know if it's available on Android.
I have it on both. I actually use it on my iPad. So.
Okay. Oh, you do? You already have it on your iPad. Oh, okay. Well then, you should be good. So yeah,
I actually don't use it on my phone because I just use your phone for small things.
Gotcha.
And then the only other app I've ever bought that I can think of is an add-on to. I have a dash cam app that I bought, and so I actually paid extra to get the background version of that app. So I have bought an app, but it takes a lot. I have to really like an app before I buy it.
Let me ask you, your dash cam app. Do you use it all the time? Is it something?
Oh yes, every day.
And it runs on your phone.
Yep.
Does it turn on automatically when you get over a certain speed or something, or do you have to remember?
No, you have to turn it on. But what I have is NFC tags, because the I don't know if iPhone has the NFC tags. I don't think they do. But the Samsung has the NFC tags, and so you can tell an NFC tag to say, "Hey, turn on this app, this app, this app." And so when I get in the car, I press against the NFC tag. The NFC tag starts up, the various things, turns off my Wi-Fi, turns on, turns on my Waze, turns on my dash cam, and then, I'm good to go.
That's clever. How much storage space does that take up each day?
Well, see, it all goes to the storage card.
And I'm assuming it overwrites each time.
Yeah, and you can specify. I think I have mine go no more than 10 gig, and each one is 10 minutes long. And I specify the smallest compression ratio for it's not an MPEG, but it's a 3GP or something like that.
Yeah. Now I will say this to you. Let's say, well, you have a Mac, so you should be okay, because those 3GPs, it's hard to find a player for those these days, but QuickTime will play them and convert them. And the only reason I'm thinking that is if anything ever happens and you have to use that video as evidence, it might be tricky using a 3GP as evidence rather than a very common MP4 file.
Yeah, and they also the app has a brilliant way of uploading it to YouTube. So if you have an accident, it you can say select this one to upload to YouTube. It'll upload it as a private video, so that you can just share it with whomever you like.
That is a neat feature, and
Yeah.
YouTube are supposed to be introducing that feature for themselves as well.
Nice.
Which will be nice. I mean, that's just an aside. It's it's irrelevant to your dash camera because that serves a specific purpose.
Yeah.
But yeah, theoretically,
the other
now
thing that the app has that's really kind of cool, and I know we're swaying from our original topic, but it's still tech stuff, is it has a detection. So if it detects that you've been in an accident, it'll automatically pull up a screen that says, "Hey, do you want to call 911?"
That's cool. That's
cool. And as you know, you've seen my pipe fitter phone holder. It'll be right in front of me, even if I have a major accident.
That's right. That's not going anywhere. I think that's attached to the frame of your car. That thing is amazing. Oh dear.
Yeah, you'll have to post a picture. I think you took a picture of it one day. You have to post it on the.
I don't know if I did. I know I got the. I was taking photos of the watches.
It is the low tech version of a high tech device.
It is amazing, is what it is. You'll spend money on that. Well, building that, you made that yourself. You'll spend money on. You'll spend money building that, but you'll only ever buy 2 applications in your lifetime.
That's right.
It's amazing. What else did I? What else do you have, Keith? Anything?
I don't really have a lot. Like I mentioned, the password browser thing, and
okay.
Yeah, and it's been a slow week. So
yeah. Well, I think it has everywhere, to be honest with you. Although Apple Pay went live in 110 different countries today, so people can start spending money.
I tried to on Android. Android has the equivalent of Apple Pay, and Amex sent me an email that said, "Hey, just take a picture of," or maybe it was Android. I can't remember. One of them sent me an email that says, "Hey, take a picture of your Amex card, and we'll automatically load it onto your Android Pay site." And I took a picture of it, and it was like it had no idea what my numbers were. So.
You couldn't plug them in after the fact?
Oh, I could. I just.
But why bother? Yeah. No, I hear you.
There's not really enough sites, like places I go to, where.
I like Apple Pay for retail stores, and I downloaded an app last week that it says it shows you every retail location that accepts Apple Pay. So you just turn on the satellite thing, the GPS, and if it tells you everything around you that will take Apple Pay, which restaurants, which bars, or you know, stores, things like that. That was quite handy. And I was surprised at just how many locations there are now that actually accept that thing.
Yet I'm surprised by how many are, still not in it. So.
How's the watch going? Good?
Yeah, it's still the same battery life. I don't understand these reviews that say they get 30 hours, 24 hours. But, it's cool. I enjoy the watch. I switch watch faces frequently. Still haven't found that quintessential app that is a must-have to say, oh, you've got to get one of these watches. But, it's cool. I wasn't able to join in last weekend with your Tag Heuer review, but the specifications of the Tag were very similar to this watch. In that, they were same size. Probably the tag was a lot lighter, being that it was titanium. But they were very similar, and it was kind of funny because they said that they had a custom app that would change the watch faces, which is of course what this watch has as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very similar, with the exception of that there was two glaring exceptions that I had. One was that the Huawei has Android and iOS support. And then the second one was that the Huawei is a standard watch band. So you can kind of pick whatever watch band you want.
Mm-hmm.
I do not think the tag had a standard watch band. But apart from that, it looked like a sharp watch.
Yeah. Oh, I know. No, I know. What was I? There was another Android watch, or another watch, I should say. All the watches, I've lost all interest in watches since Tag Heuer released theirs, the bastards.
I'm really actually shocked that you're not wearing one today.
Yeah.
Because I figured for sure you would have one.
I know who it was. Movado. Are you familiar with the Movado watch company?
I've heard of them.
They make those really Art Deco, modern looking industrial design watches, and it usually has a silver sphere in the 12 o'clock position.
Okay.
Anyway, they make some beautiful watches. They are releasing a smartwatch. Now here's the thing. I looked at not really a review because it hasn't been released yet. This is a kind of a design concept, and it looks like it's going to send alerts by a series of beeps, vibrations, and LED lights. I don't think it's a fully digital faced smartwatch. I believe it's an analog face with hands that light up. So that the hands, the hour, minute, and second hands, I guess are LEDs or have LEDs. Those light up. There's a ring around the entire bezel which lights up on the inside of the bezel, though, so it's in the watch dial, but right up, pushed up against the outer bezel ring. And it really looks intriguing. Now, if it is just a series of beeps, buzzes, and flashes, it makes me wonder how well that's going to work, because then you're having to remember combinations for different applications. Say two buzzes and a blue glow is email or something like that. I don't want to deal with that. I'd rather have it just say email on my wrist and up comes an email.
Yeah, I mean it pops up with a little thing that says 2 new interactions.
Yeah,
and I lift up and it says so and so retweeted your thing.
Right.
So, which happened to be my Charlie Sheen tweet, by the way.
Oh yeah. Oh, Charlie Sheen, you have AIDS. Bum 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 bum. Yeah, that was. That was all coordinated today, by the way, because he went on, what was it, the Today Show or something?
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes later, Brie Olson was in New York on the Howard Stern show talking about it. So obviously that was kind of a coordinated effort today, which I understand. I get it. But, she's saying, well, he never told me he was HIV positive. Well, sweetheart, I'm going to assume he did for you to be in New York and to be on Howard Stern talking about it the very day that he's on the Today Show, outing himself.
I will assume that he never told her what he didn't know.
Yeah, that's
the way I take
that's
that.
what I would think anyway. I mean, Jesus Christ, he got it from, I'm not, all right. Allegedly may have got it from her anyway. So
I mean, potentially, who knows?
No, I don't think he did, because she was actually on Twitter. I follow her on Twitter. I believe you do as well.
Oh yeah.
And she was on Twitter yesterday talking about how she's going to get an AIDS test and record it. She filmed it. I'm assuming for Instagram or something. I don't know. I don't follow her on anything other than Twitter. So
Yeah.
So again, you know, obviously she knows about it. Obviously, she well, she knew enough to go get an AIDS test yesterday anyway. So who knows?
Yeah.
Oh well. Yeah, that was.
You know, I mean, as I posted on Facebook, I was like, you know, in all the news with their negativity, it's nice to see something positive.
Yeah, and he's a very positive guy. So, especially these days. It's I was seeing on the Howard Stern.
Winning.
Yeah, winning.
Tiger blood.
Seth Rogen was on Howard Stern this morning as well, and he made a little joke himself. He said, "You know, I'm doing great. I feel great. No AIDS." And that was before Brie came on. So
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to feel sorry for him because you know he's led such a lifestyle. But I mean, I love the guy as an actor. I mean, he makes me laugh every time. At 2.5 Men, he was brilliant. But you know, I'm sorry. He was you know.
Listen, I mean, you take
the character.
You take those kind of risks, then you know it's still a disease. It still exists. It's not like we got rid of it after the 80s. I'm sure he's got a shit ton of money. I'm sure he'll be fine. He can afford the AIDS cocktail, so and all the other cocktails. So
well, it's just HIV. It's not AIDS. So
that's true.
Maybe
it's HIV, and maybe him and Brie.
Maybe he's gonna be all right.
Maybe him and Brie will get married now and make an honest couple out of themselves. Anyway, that is so far from tech. It's not even funny.
There's no technology involved in that at all.
That's right. All right, so I have a break coming up, Keith. After that,
I'm going to hang up and let Danielle or anyone else call back in, and
okay.
I'm sure Danielle will chastise me for my Charlie Sheen comments.
She's already chastising us over Twitter, over text message. So yeah, she will. All right, man. Thanks for calling.
All right, love you, brother.
Bye.
Bye.
I received a message from JaNice. Pardon me, a few minutes ago. She is still in a commission meeting and hopes to be here by 8:45. So that will actually be, I guess, timed pretty. Wait, pretty sure I just ran into a commercial here because I'm awesome at this job. I don't know, not entirely sure what happened there. But anyway, JaNice hopes to be here by 8:45. I actually do have a break that I have to go into, which is I'll try to fix this and get all my advertisers. Got to pay the bills, right? Let me cue these back up. All right, we're good. Running over again. We'll be back after this break. Hopefully, JaNice will be here and we can start that conversation. But we'll be back. Hey, in the meantime, if you want to call in, the number is 678. I always forget to give out the phone number. And to all the guys that text me, remind me like every 10 or 15 minutes to hand out the phone number because I'm literally rubbish at this. It's 678-760-1556. 678-760-1556. I don't know. It's a number. Somebody text me the number, please. We'll be back. We'll be back after this break. Oh, shit. What did I? Oh, my God. I really am terrible at this. There we go. Deleted the wrong thing from the queue. There we go. Right. So Danielle wants me to download an app called Places I've Pooped. Oh, God, it's actually on here. Oh, I feel dirty. No, pin and track in map your, what does that say? Oh, Christ. I'm not downloading it. It wants a password. I'll do that in a second. Download and track your poo toilet something, but it gets cut off and I can't read the whole description. I don't want to mark your territory. Drop a pin to mark your territory. No, I'm not downloading this. This is silly. This is silly. If I want to do this, I could drop pins on the map itself. There's in-app purchase. Oh, remove ads. God, I can't believe anybody would pay for that. Oh, here's one while we're on YouTube. The iOS free app of the week is now this kind of thing irks me a little bit. This is PDF Expert 5 by Readdle. I bought this. I paid money for this. I want to say it was between $10 and $15. And I bought the full version, and now it's the free app of the week on iOS, and that really gets on my tits. I mean, I'll pay a developer. I'll pay money to support developers, but then they go and give the damn thing away for free. It's like, what the hell am I giving you money for? That annoys the piss out of me, I swear. I'm assuming it means version 6 is coming out, which I'll pay for an upgrade for version 6 because I bet it's not free. Fucking annoying. All right, so we're off air on the radio, and we're off air for quite a while. We're off air until 8:42. JaNice is still in a commissioner's meeting, which I hope they wrap up. I hope she can get on tonight. If not, she'll have to come on next week's show, which is my birthday, Tuesday. And I wasn't even 100% sure I was going to do a show on Tuesday. I was maybe going to try to find somebody to cover for me. But I do want to be here to interview JaNice. We'll see. Hopefully she'll make it tonight. We'll see. On deck, Netgear released a new security camera, basically a competitor to the drop cam, or the Nest cam as they call it now. I guess the Nest thermostat people, they changed the name of their camera. Oh, and that Movado watch, Danny, is in conjunction with HP. It's Hewlett Packard, who I didn't even know were still in business. Hewlett Packard since Carly left. Love Carly, by the way. But that's HP and Movado doing that together. I got some Black Friday deals. I got some third-party Apple Watch bands. Oh, a little tech tip. I'll do this on the show. I think it's a little tech tip for iPhone users, for people who may have, I don't know, hearing impairments or vibration impairments. If you don't feel vibrations, I don't know if that's a thing. I'm sure it is. Although that would be the worst impairment, not feeling vibrations. Oh yeah. We already did security on the radio, so I'm just going to do this one on the YouTube, the break. There. So in the iOS App Store and the Android Store, some applications were getting through the vetting process that included I'll call it an embedded application that was stealing passwords. Um, this is just one more reason to use a password manager and have unique passwords for each site. And Danny, there are tutorials built into the 1Password application. You can or all of their tutorials are on their website at agilebits.com. I would highly, if you're looking at it and thinking, well, I don't know what's going on here, take a look at the tutorials. It'll show you the basics about starting, creating categories, creating entries, creating logins and secure notes and passwords and all the different categories that are inside of 1Password. But yeah, this applications were getting submitted to Apple and Google. They were getting approved, or I guess an application, I should say. It's a third-party Instagram application that was stealing usernames, passwords, and pictures from Instagram users. The app is called Insta Agent, INSTA AGENT. I guess I will mention this when we go back on the air. Anyone that has that app needs to delete it and immediately change their Instagram password. And any website that uses that same password, go ahead and change those as well. So yeah, that was fun. Apple and Google dropping the ball. Yeah, what are you gonna do? What else? Oh yeah, third party keyboards, Danielle. I did a bit more digging into things like SwiftKey and Swipe. Now, SwiftKey's prediction, and I think we talked about this over text message, but I can't remember. But they say they filter out anything that's labeled as a password field and anything that's a credit card number. Here's the thing: if the password field isn't designated as password in the code, then it's not going to filter it out, and the keyboard company or the keyboard service provider, whoever it is, will get your password. As for credit card numbers, it says it parses them by looking for long strings of numbers, which says to me if you enter your credit card number the way it is on your card as blocks of 4, it's not going to parse those out either. It's going to send all of that data to the keyboard people also. So yeah, I still keep away from third-party keyboards. I will continue to keep away from them. They all appear to be the same. They all require you to send data to them. And yeah, basically they can suck it. Okay. There's this song, there's 2 commercials. Back at 8:42. That gives me time. I gotta go do something real quick and I'll be back. All right, we're back. Still no JaNice yet. Hopefully she'll be here shortly. Like I said, she's in a commission meeting. It's running over. She said she'll try to be here by 8:45. If she can't be here tonight, it hopefully then will be next week. Now, next week is my birthday. I was actually thinking about trying to get somebody to sub for me and do my show that night, but if JaNice is coming in, I will do the show. What was I talking about during the break? There were we were talking about security earlier today, and there was a vulnerability for both Android and iOS that occurred. It was this week or last week. It was an application that got submitted to the App Store, and it included an embedded app that was stealing passwords. The app is called Insta Agent, and it's a third-party Instagram application. It was stealing username and passwords and sending them back to, well, I don't know to whom, to the developer, I assume. So if you use Insta Agent, if you have it installed, you need to go ahead and delete it and change your Instagram password. And if you use that password on any other website, you need to change those too. Which again, another reason to have a password manager. That Movado watch, by the way, is a partnership between HP and Movado. Now, I didn't even know HP were still in business. I thought they went out of business after Carly left, and I love Carly, so you know, screw HP. What else? Here's a little tip. So this is a tip for iOS users, and it's a tip for people that it is a tip for people that, I don't know, may have maybe hard of hearing or have a problem, I don't know, or miss vibrations on their phone a lot. This is a little tip that allows you to use your camera flash for notifications. So anytime an email or something comes in, the camera flash will flash for you. So here's what you do. You go into the settings app from your home screen, scroll down to general, tap on that. Look for accessibility and tap on that. Scroll down until you reach the hearing section and tap turn on the LED flash for alerts. And as simple as that, your camera flash will now blink. I think it's 3 times. It's like 3 rapid. I don't know how to do a sound effect for 3 rapid flashes, but that would be the best I could do. But that's a neat tip for people who are hard of hearing. A friend, a coworker, colleague, he uses that tip. Now he also has a case on his phone, and you're going to like this, Dan. It's quite clever. It's a transparent case. You know, you're like a normal Snap-on looking case, but it's fully transparent. So no matter which way his phone's sitting, if it's face down, he sees the flash go off. If it's laying with the flash on the table, when the flash goes off, it lights up the whole case, so he sees the alert either way. So I guess that's a twofer. Get yourself, if you're hard of hearing, turn on flash alerts and get yourself a transparent phone case, and you should see the alerts either way.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I don't know if JaNice is going to make it in tonight. It's beginning to look like it's highly unlikely. She said she was going to try to be here by 8:45, and it's past that. So that's a shame, but you know what? Maybe next week. What were we talking about?
I was good. Well, I was going to talk about my app of the week,
Yeah.
but never mind now.
Yeah. Well, your app of the week, and also you said I don't know if you remember the words that annoy you, but you said you had a couple of words that piss you off as well.
I wrote them down.
Oh, see? That's preparation. Yeah. Go ahead. What were they?
I did. Well, this one just lights me up. Improper use of the reflexive. When somebody says myself instead of I or me, seriously drives me crazy.
Me, myself, and I?
Like when somebody says, like, refer to myself if you have any questions. No, you dumbass, it's refer to me. And I'm not going to refer to you because you're a damn dumbass because you can't even speak English. So let's move on from there. It drives me insane. Crazy. As you can tell, because I'm getting a little agitated with just myself talking about it.
From now on, I will refer to himself.
Yes, please refer to himself that's not even third person, that's reflexive.
That's what I'm going to do.
The reflexive instead of third person, yes.
You know what I've gone and done? I've gone and left my e-cig on the other end of this table.
Do you want me to keep talking while you go and fetch it?
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to make this as seamless as possible. Danny, what's your free app of the week?
Well, Al, as we discussed before, my free app of the week is an app called, I have to look at it to get the name correct because all I think is poop, Places I've Pooped. And what one can do with this app is they can go in and log not just the places they've pooped, but the quality of the surroundings in which they pooped.
I thought you were about to say the quality of said poop.
No, you can upload pictures. And I think, they encourage you to upload pictures of the actual facilities, not your poops.
See, any guy that downloads this app is obviously going to be uploading pictures of
his own poop.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to, right?
Yeah.
God, dude, look at the size. Look at this. Look at the length of this one. It's going to be stuff like that.
You can follow your friends. You can follow your friends on the app.
And does it have the George Michael button? The meetup. The meetup
that might be the paid.
That might be version.
The paid version.
Yeah, the meetup, the casual restroom meetup button.
Yeah. Yes. No, I think that's the
places I've pooped. So I looked. I found this thing on the iOS App Store because you said, "Hey, download Places I've Pooped." And first of all, I'm afraid to say that it is on the App Store. And it says one of the things says it shows a picture of the map with some marker pins dropped, and it says drop a pin and mark your territory.
Dude, that's some funny shit right there.
I mean, I will admit that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, it's just funny.
Places I've pooped. It's ridiculous. What if it doesn't? There's no airplanes listed. So what if you poop on an airplane?
I'll try it. I'm going home in a couple of weeks, and I'll see how it works. I'll have to get. I don't typically get internet on the airplane.
Yeah,
but I will.
Did you fly over DC? See if you can poop on DC.
I think we arc more towards the middle, but I'll see what I can do.
Fine.
So
if you can't poop on DC, I'm not that interested, to be honest.
Right. No, I know. I understand. I mean, I'll do what I can do. So do you remember I sent you the picture of pantsless Pierre, and you wanted to know if it was possible to enter Pierre?
Yes. Yeah. Can you get up in him? Can you get up in him?
That's what I was doing the other day. I was heading back up to Two Harbors. So I left early with the intention in the pouring down rain. It was like 40 degrees, pouring down rain. But I left early. I was going to go by and make a little video of myself getting out of the car.
And see if you could get all up in Pierre.
Right. But so I pulled kind of up to Pierre, and realized only then that Pierre's kind of out in the middle of a field. Not really a field, but he's up behind a roadside motel. But, you know, there's sort of like it's kind of like a big backyard to the motel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just like, you know, park in a parking lot and then run up to Pierre. Like it would have been a long dash, which I'm not sure I wouldn't have done had it not been pouring down rain. And I was going to Two Harbors to meet with a buyer. So, you know, going up there looking like a drowned rat, and possibly getting arrested.
Yeah.
It didn't work out. So, it didn't work out that day. I'm not saying it's never going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't work that day. And then the really funny thing is, as you know, because you're part of this adventure, I felt a need to tell you about it that evening and send you a picture of Pierre, you know, situated in this field to justify not sending you the video that you didn't know I was going to make in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
What are you going to do? I have a free app of the week, or well, actually, it is free, and it's a piss Alex off free app of the week.
Sweet.
So I bought an application called it's PDF Expert, and they're up to version 5 now of PDF Expert, and I guess the name is pretty descriptive. It's a PDF application for PDF experts, so to speak. So you can create and annotate and mark up and basically anything you need to do to a PDF you can do with this app on your phone or your iPad. And I purchased this for, I can't remember how much, but it was anywhere between $10 and $15. And they went ahead and made it free this week on the iOS store. So if you have an iPhone and you ever have a need to mark up PDFs, go ahead and download PDF Expert version 5 for free. And then leave a review that says Alex is pissed and wants his money back. If you would.
You know what I'm going to do?
Please.
I'm going to fire up. I need to find, and then I'm going to fire up the last iPhone that I had and download that app for free just to piss you off.
Well, I hope you mean just to write the review and get me my refund is what I hope you mean. No. Anyway, here's what I think it means is I think version 6 is they've made version 5 free because version 6 is coming out, which means I'm sure I'll have to spend money upgrading to version 6. Here's how I'll stick it to them. I won't upgrade. Mm-hmm.
I wonder if you won't have to spend money because you've already paid for it, but if the freebies will have to spend money if they want to go from 5 to 6.
I don't know. It depends on the developer. They have the option of releasing updates for free to everybody, or they can release a brand new version and charge money for it. So if they release it, let's say they release version 6 as an update to version 5, I would get it for free. I would have to. If they release it as a new version, then they could charge money for it again. So I don't know. All right. Well, let's talk about. Hang
on. I have a quick side note to the whole 1Password thing.
Okay. I.e. you can't figure it out.
I wasn't going to say that because I didn't want to be negative about it. I will figure it out. I have not figured it out yet.
Okay.
I got to a point where it said that I could upgrade for $10 or continue with my 30-day free trial.
Oh, then so I would stick with the free trial to see if you like it.
Right, yeah. I mean, I'll probably actually go ahead and just do the $10 because I'm gonna work it out.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were talking about the whole in-app $10 thing. It's a 30-day free trial, so I wonder if it's only free to anybody. You know what I mean? Like if at day 31 they're gonna make you pay or the pot.
No, I think what'll happen is so you'll go ahead and set it up and you'll have all your categories and all your logins, and then at the end of 30 days they're going to say, oh, so now you can only use 10 passwords or something along those lines.
Right.
So
limited, yeah.
I mean, I spent the money and here's the thing. Every time they release an update, iOS updates, by the way, have always been free. So even once you pay, once you pay your $10, any update since then has been free. On the Mac, though, they've always had paid updates to the app. However, you can excuse me. Now you can get around that. The Mac has their own app store, just like iOS does.
Okay.
If you buy 1Password through the Mac App Store, all future updates are also free. So I would recommend you do it like that. Now, I bought mine long before the Mac App Store. So I've been paying for updates ever since, through directly from the website. For you, I would say when you buy the Mac version, buy it through the Mac App Store. That way you buy it once and all your future updates are free. So it'll be $50 period. And I probably should do that. The next update, instead of paying, $30 to update, I'll probably pay $50 to get the Mac App Store version so that I never have to pay for an update in the future. That way I've paid and I'm done. Seems to make sense. I don't know. Here's a little bit of news.
Yeah.
So only a little bit. It's not massive news. So Apple, oh God, this thing's so slow. So Apple control globally about 10 or 20% of the phone market. However, they earned 94% of the industry profits for the quarter. So Android are obviously Android are the dominant manufacturer. They're the dominant OS on the market. But Apple took 94% of all smartphone industry profits. How crazy is that?
How does that even make sense?
Yeah, because their margins are so high. I guess their margins are so high. Plus, now I don't know if that also includes app stores and things like that. I guess it would make sense if it did, if it was everything related to cell phones. I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting tidbit. Plus, I had nothing else to talk about, so let's talk about that.
That is an interesting tidbit.
Listen, we're coming up on a break. And this one I'm going to time exactly to the second again, just to make up for the one I botched last time. When we come back, I don't know if you want to talk about this. I want to. I want to touch on it. Is the Syrian refugee crisis, and what I think is a slight overreaction by a certain segment of America. But you and I talk about it during the break, and when we get back, we may be talking about this. We'll see in a few. Yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about that or not, but are you
what you're going to talk about?
Well, are you let's block them coming in, or are you that's one of the risks you take for being America?
I mean, I don't know that either extreme is the right answer.
Sure. I
guess it's kind of a pussy answer, but
I
don't know that you can. I don't think that blocking. I don't know. I don't. Honestly, I don't have a right answer. I don't have a good answer.
Okay.
Tell me what you're thinking.
Well, we'll talk about it when we get back, but I think people are overreact. I think it's a big overreaction. I really do, because and while I don't listen to the extremists on either side. I don't, there's that meme. Well, a refugee has never been arrested for terrorist activity. Okay. Not actually true, but I understand that it's very rare. Right. And that's why I think, it's kind of an overreaction on the part of a lot of people. And I think it's one of the prices we pay for being America and being compassionate and being a world leader. and an example, or trying to be an example to other countries. It's one of the risks we take is, you know, if we let people in who are escaping an absolute hell, we take a chance that one or two may be bad apples.
Right.
Oh, well, too bad. And you know what?
Yeah.
We're armed. We're fucking armed. We can, if they turn out to be bad apples, we can deal with that. But we'll talk about that when we get back. I'm going to grab a beer though. Okay. Hold on. I'll be 2 seconds. I'll be a bit more than 2 seconds, but I'm going to grab a beer.
Okay.
All right, I'm back.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I'm not extreme. I'm not extreme on either end of the equation. I just like getting people riled up about it. I like winding people up, right? Because I can wind up the blockums and I can wind up the let 'em ins.
Yes, I believe that you can. It frightened me seeing people that I know to be intelligent posting things on Facebook like about governors not allowing refugees into certain states.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw that, I was like, "Well, wait, what?" You know what I mean? Like, it's just
See, Georgia is one of those. Governor Deal yesterday at around 4 p.m. said we're not going to allow refugees in either. And again, I don't really have an opinion. I don't get to vote anyway.
How can a governor? But how can they keep? Like, what does that even mean?
Oh, well, the governor, the governor has issued an order to all state departments not to provide aid in relocating refugees. And he's also petitioned the federal government to exempt Georgia from the refugee resettlement program or whatever the hell it is. So that's what that means. It means the federal government will not be allowed to send refugees to any state where the governor has said we're not going to accept refugees. And the states do have that right, obviously.
Okay.
So, okay, JaNice says she'll be here at 9:15.
Okay. Okay, good. That's what, 10 minutes?
Yes, in 10 minutes. Oh, that'll be a all right, so I'm actually going to throw on another song, and I guess I'll come back to JaNice rather than going on for a few minutes and then
Yeah, you should calm down and not be riled up when she gets there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not, it doesn't, the whole thing doesn't rile me up. I like to rile other people up on it though.
Right.
Like, all these people that seem to think it's, and I've had this chestnut thrown at me. Well, do you think all Muslims are terrorists? Well, no, of course I don't. The same way I don't think all terrorists are Muslims. I do look at the Department of Homeland Security statistics, though, that show 70% of all terrorist attacks are carried out by Muslims or Islamic organizations. So I do look at that. But I don't buy into this, no refugee has ever been arrested for terrorist acts either, simply because it's not true. What that is, that is just counting on people to read a label and blindly accept that label, refugee. Well, refugees come in all shapes and sizes. Asylum seekers are refugees. They are.
Right.
They just have a different label. And asylum seekers have most definitely been arrested and imprisoned for terrorist attacks. The Boston Marathon bombers were too. They were asylees, and they are now in jail because of it. So, oh, okay. What's the address? JaNice has been here before, but she's coming from a different location and needs the address, and I don't know the address. So let's
Can
drop
you Google yourself or something?
I'm going to drop a pin on the map and see what it says. 3458 Underwood Road. Oh, probably shouldn't have said that. Edit that out,
You might
YouTube.
edit that, yeah. 808.
I can't edit that out. You know why?
Why? You can't edit in post-production?
It's streaming live to YouTube.
Well, yeah, but in post-production you can, can't you? There's two of us watching right now.
Come around back to the studio. No, I probably could. I'm not going to worry about it. Everyone knows where Scott is anyway. Hell, all the guests come here. But yeah, you know, I'll play
post-production.
Yeah, I'll play both sides of the fence. I don't have a problem with accepting refugees simply because they need to go somewhere, and the absolute disaster of a hellhole they're leaving. I would be leaving too. I would be out of there. I would be going somewhere, and I would have no thoughts in my mind about committing terrorist acts. I do have concerns about it. Obviously, the fact that there can be no real background check or vetting of the refugees, simply because it's impossible. There's no way to background check them, and I don't like that the Democrats are saying, oh, well, it's a very stringent process, and it involves Homeland Security, and it involves immigration, and it involves this and that. Okay, well, then tell me exactly what it involves. Don't just tell me who it involves. Tell me exactly what they're doing. Tell me exactly what it is they're doing, and maybe I'll agree with you. As far as I can tell, there is no way to vet these people. There never will be a way to vet these people because it's like Rubio said, who are you going to call? Who do you call in Syria to do a background check on these guys? You know what I mean? But I think it's one of the risks we take for being America. I think, you know, what is it? Send us your tired, hungry, and poor.
Right. I mean, I'm sure you remember, and this is a microcosmic example, but after Katrina, when all of those people, I was teaching high school in Metro Atlanta, when, you know, we had kids show up with absolutely no records and no way to, you know, nobody to call, no way to look them up. So whatever the parents told us was their background, we're like, oh, okay, you know, we'll roll with that. And as you know, I taught special ed. So, you know, there were kids that rolled in there with some real challenges that the parents thought, well, I'll just, you know, say he's in regular classes and he'll be fine. Oh, no, it wasn't fine. And again, you know, not really a great comparison, but, you know, no records. Somebody with no records, who are you going to call to check?
Yeah. No,
you know,
I agree. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, again, you know, I don't think it's a huge risk. Is there a risk? Of course, there's always a risk, but there's a risk to legal immigration. There's a risk to American citizens. You know, I mean, a lot of terrorists in the United States have been American citizens. You know, natural born. So the risk always exists, and turning people away and saying no, go back home where they're going to chop your head off. kind of unacceptable.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, let's well, that's a shame. All right, so that was JaNice. She said her GPS is showing she's 15 minutes away. That puts us 5 minutes till the end of the show, so we're going to do next week instead.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so am I. Sorry, I'm sending her a message real quick.
No, it's okay. While you do that, I can entertain the listener.
Go on then.
Because now I think we're just on YouTube with my local colloquialism, which is the saying is a horse apiece. And what that means is
it doesn't mean a damn thing, Danielle. It means nothing. You know that.
No, it does. I didn't even make it up. It's legit.
It's
Google
a horse.
it.
So okay, can I guess?
Yeah.
All right, let's make this a game.
Okay.
A horse apiece. One horse each.
Right.
That was tough.
Yeah, so like 6 of one, half dozen of the other. A horse apiece. It's from, I don't know, some game that people used to play. And it was, when you had 0, it was called a horse. So it was a horse apiece, like if you're both at 0. People in Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan say it. I've been trying to work it into conversation, but I don't know. It's not really catching on.
I'm not really surprised. I will now try to work it into conversations.
Yeah. You know, and you have to, of course, you have to just keep going. Like everybody should know what it means.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like fetch in Mean Girls. Same diff.
I don't know what that is.
The movie Mean Girls, where the girl's trying to make the word fetch happen.
I don't know what that.
Like she's trying to. Oh my God, Alex, where have you been? I've been gone too long.
Well, first of all, what is a mean girl? And what is it they're fetching?
The movie Mean Girls. Don't mean girl me. It's not going to work. It is not going to work. You need to chew some gum or something and settle down.
I honestly don't know what it is. So it's a film. It's a film. And what is it they're fetching?
The movie Mean Girls. They're not fetching anything. One of the girls is trying to make the word fetch like a hip word, a happening word, a word for like that means cool. So she keeps trying to work it into conversation.
And it means what?
Cool. Like, oh my God, that's so fun.
But it doesn't. It means go over there and pick something up.
Right. Except that she's trying to make it colloquial.
So stupid.
Well, cool doesn't mean cool. Cool means not hot and not cold, but cool. Words can have multiple meanings.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Here's some interesting stuff we'll talk about on the air.
What? Oh.
Permissions for Android. We're going back on in a few minutes, and I'm going to tell everybody that JaNice is not coming tonight, and hopefully she'll be here next week. And
Okay.
I'm going to try to keep on to her this week as well.
You're what?
Okay, that is me. All right, we're back. All right, some bad news now, unfortunately. I've been talking to JaNice. She left the commissioners meeting, and her GPS was saying she was 15 minutes away, which would have put us 5 minutes before the end of the show. So we're going to put that off till next week because we've got a lot more to talk about than just 5 minutes worth of stuff. It's a real shame, and JaNice does apologize. She was at a meeting. There was a speaker who ran over, and she couldn't leave in the middle of somebody speaking. I mean, most of us wouldn't. Well, I probably would actually, but that's me. I'm a rude git. But obviously, you know, JaNice is running for Senate, so she can't be a rude git like me. So anyway, we'll do that next week. And I've been keeping in touch with her over Facebook. This time we'll schedule for her to be in right at the beginning of the show. And hopefully that'll work out. And that will be my birthday show. So I'm going to ask her to bring me a cake. Do you think that's fair, Dan?
That might be a bit much.
Ask a senator to bring me a cake?
Well, you're asking a guest to bring you a cake. She's your guest.
So?
You should bring her a cake.
I brought a delicious bottle of water for her. I had it set out in her spot. There are some peanut butter crackers right here that JaNice was more than welcome to. Don't know whose they were. And then I don't even know if she likes peanut butter crackers, but I did think ahead and brought some water in. I should have brought some wine. She might be. I should ask her what kind of wine she likes. I don't know. I don't imagine JaNice is going to want to get boozy on my show, but maybe I'll ask her. We'll find out. So here's a story. You and an awful lot of people in this world are Android users. Pew Research. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They are researchers. I see their names pop up in a lot of stories, but I don't exactly know who they are. But they do a lot of technology research. By the way, the crackers that I just offered for JaNice are Scott's, and now Scott is sending me messages saying you cannot give her my crackers. All right, maybe I'll bring in some crackers next week. Anyway, so Pew Research they looked at 1,041,336 apps in Google Play between June and September of 2014, and they found that those apps are looking for 235 different kinds of permissions. So, and you know what I mean by that, right? The permission to do things on your phone, to either access hardware or take information or things like that. In the report, Pew said that in the year since they collected the data, Android has been upgraded twice in that time, KitKat 4.4 and Lollipop version 5, and then again to Marshmallow version 6. However, since Android's own Android dashboard indicates that KitKat is still the most common version, with 37.8% of users using that to access the store. Okay. I just broke something.
Stop it.
I'm not. Shh. Oops. Anyway, so most of the 235 permissions were related to allowing accessing hardware functions. Another big category is access to personal information. There were 70 different permissions requesting access to personal information. Pew found that the average number of permissions required by an app is 5. Full network access is the most commonly sought permission, 83% of all apps, so that's so it can access your radio. The second most common permission required is viewing network connections at 69%. 27% of apps require permission to prevent the device going to sleep. So there's your battery
sucker.
Yeah, battery problems right there. I don't know what I'm hearing. I think I'm hearing a plane crash or something. 24% want to use your GPS, and 21% ask for approximate location based on cell tower and Wi-Fi positioning. Now, where are they asking for personal information? I like contacts and shite. I wish they listed all 235 different
Hmm.
permissions here, because they can access permission to your camera and your microphone and your
Right.
photos and things like that. But yeah, 235 different permissions. I don't know, that's kind of scary.
I bet in that article, if we look, I wonder if they link to, which we don't need to do on the air because that would be torturously boring. But I wonder if they link, I bet there's an appendix with all of that information in it.
There is. I think
like
I
the
just
list.
I think I just licked I think I just clicked on it.
I have one.
So there's add or modify calendar events. 1.66% of apps use that. Add or remove accounts, 0.78%, blah, blah, blah. Let's find the good ones. Change network connectivity. 1.18% of apps can do that. Change your audio settings, 3% of apps do that. Disconnect and reconnect to Wi-Fi, 3% of apps can do that. Let's look for the biggies. Directly call cell phone numbers. 10% of applications can call cell phone numbers without your permit. Well, you give it permission and then it does it without you knowing.
What?
Yeah, it can do it. It can do it in the background without you knowing. Find accounts on the device. So a permission that lets the application scour your phone in the background to find out all the accounts on your phone. It lets it get a list of accounts known by the phone. This may include any accounts created by other applications you've installed. 16% of applications use that permission. Modify or delete the contents of your USB storage. That's quite common, obviously, because a lot of apps write to the SD card or to RAM. 54% of applications use that.
Is that not okay?
I mean, it's
You
okay.
should not be allowing.
No, I mean, it's okay. I generally do not allow applications access to my contacts, simply because there's no real need. For example, I don't think Facebook needs access to my contacts when it already has a list of my friends on Facebook, right? It doesn't need access to their phone numbers and addresses from my own personal address book. So I actually deny that. I don't know that you can deny it on Android. I think with Android, don't you have to allow permissions or deny permissions blanket? For applications, if you install an app and it says, oh, it's asking for permission to do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different things, don't you have to either allow all 6 or deny all 6? There's no fine-grained modularity to it.
I'm going to say yes for right now, but then what I'm going to do is go delete some apps
Reinstall
and reload
them
them and see, because honestly, Alex, I don't.
You don't pay attention to that, do you?
Keith is going to text me. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
So there's.
And I'm mortified. Mortified at
yeah.
this shit that you're reading right now.
Yeah. There's read phone status and identity, so it can get your IMEI number, and I'm assuming send it back to the manufacturer. 35% of apps do that. Text messages, receive data. That's surprisingly low. Receive data from the internet. Only 15%, 16% of applications use that. Allows apps to accept cloud to device messages sent by the apps. Oh, okay, that's why. It's for messaging. Send a sticky broadcast.
What's a good kind of app for me to delete and then reload that would ask for a bunch of?
Well, didn't you delete Facebook?
Yes.
Just reload
that.
Yeah, reload Facebook, see what it asks for, and then maybe then delete it again afterwards.
Okay.
Test access to protected storage allows the app to test a permission for USB storage that will be available on future devices. Allows the app to test permission for the SD card that will be, I don't know what that is, but 55% of apps use it. That's terrifying. If I don't know what it is, don't really want them using it. This is what I like about iOS. Every permission is modular. You know, I can, for example, if it were Facebook, I can give it access to my calendar, but I can block access to my microphone and camera, for example. And for some reason, I thought on Android it was an all or nothing, that the app would just refuse to run if you denied it permission to do anything.
You know what? And I meant to tell you this before. I know I'm not. If you just asked me a question, I'm not answering it. Facebook, when I went to delete it, it wouldn't let me delete it. I could just disable it.
You couldn't delete. Is it, what was it?
It must have been preloaded.
Yeah, it must have been embedded in. It must be a preloaded app.
Yeah, because remember something on my phone wasn't working, so I had to go re-bloat.
Yeah.
And I just never went back and de-bloated again.
Okay,
So yes,
so
it's in here now. I just got to find it.
Well, I'll tell you a good one to try then would be Snapchat. Because Snapchat requires most, from what I guess, most permissions, because it uses your camera, your microphone, your GPS, your internet connection. It uses everything. And it can do messaging, and it can do all kind of good stuff, right?
Okay.
So that might be a good one to look at to test this theory. But yeah, 200 odd permissions. I think that's kind of scary. Oh well, what you gonna do? Still haven't bought an Apple TV, by the way. Two things I have not bought, so be proud of me. Have not bought a Tag Heuer watch. Have not bought the new Apple TV. So.
Well, you have the old Apple TV, don't you?
I do. Yeah, I do. Oh, and a second thing, T-Mobile's Binge On, where it's free video streaming.
Yes.
So the CEO of now this is my mistake. I misinterpreted a tweet, but the CEO of T-Mobile, John Legere, he said Sunday that Binge On was going live, and at the end of his tweet he said, "And existing customers can't wait until the 19th." I read that to mean existing customers don't have to wait until the 19th, right? So I did. I went to T-Mobile. I checked my account settings, and I noticed that Binge On was turned on. And I'm thinking, bonus, just start streaming video willy-nilly, right? I have unlimited data anyway, but it doesn't matter. But what I do have is limited hotspot. That's capped at 5 gigs. So I turn on my hotspot. I start streaming Netflix movies, and before you know it, I've gone through 2 gigs. And I'm thinking, well, that can't be right. I got Binge On. It shouldn't be using any. So I contact T-Mobile on Twitter. Again, by the way, I use Twitter for everything. It's probably the best customer service platform you can use. Don't pick up the phone. Use Twitter. So I contact T-Mobile on Twitter, and they said, yeah, it goes live the 19th. I said, wait a second. I said, John tweeted that I don't have to wait. And they said, really? I said, yeah. So I went and checked John Legere's account, and it didn't say don't have to wait. It said can't wait till the 19th. And you know what, John? You're absolutely right. I can't wait till the 19th.
You didn't wait.
You ambiguous prick. No, I did not wait. I did not wait until the 19th. How ridiculous is that? That's crazy.
Well, you're not a very good waiter. You're not good at waiting.
No, I am remarkably impatient. Although, again, have not bought a Tag Heuer smartwatch and have not bought the new Apple TV. So, doing okay. And the Apple TV, I said I'm not going to touch it until they update the remote app. And the Tag Heuer watch, I haven't said I'm not going to touch it. I don't know. It's, oh God, it's so nice.
You haven't actually gone and seen one live, have you?
I have not. No, I was waiting for you to come into town. You said you were going to come to town. We go see one. However, I don't even know if there's a Tag Heuer boutique here. I know there's a Omega boutique at Phipps, and I go there. But I'll have to check to see if there's a Tag Heuer boutique, or whether it's going to be somewhere like Torno, a high-end watch shop. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be there midday on, I think it's the let me tell you, and if Kurt ever watches this show, I'm dead. But he's paying a whole bunch of extra money for me to fly in on a Monday so that I can be there an extra Tuesday, just because I don't know when you're doing your show, so that I can come in and visit. So I'll be there the 14th, which is a Monday.
Of December?
December.
Okay,
yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, here we go.
28th.
So you just sent me a screenshot of Snapchat's permissions, and it wants permission to your identity, use one or more of accounts to device profile, contact, it wants your contacts, location, SMS, photos and media files, camera and microphone. And the only button is accept.
Correct. And there are more. That's just, I'm out of that screen. Oh, there we go. Microphone, it goes on to Wi-Fi connection information, and then device ID and call information. And you see there are like little carrots all the way on the right.
Yeah.
I can click those.
Yeah, to show a description.
Oh, you can see. Yeah, it gives descriptions, but yes, you can't turn them off or on. It's just accept.
So yeah, so you accept them, and your only option is to accept them. That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's scary, but it's certainly not
intrusive.
Yeah, I would not call that consumer friendly. You know, again, that's why I like about Apple. I can pick and choose which permissions to grant. So I got an email from Best Buy, and it was a preview of their Black Friday sales, which apparently is still a thing. I don't do Black Friday. I shop at Amazon. So you can get up to $100 off of an Apple Watch, or you can get a $200 gift card with the purchase of an iPhone 6. You can get an iPad Air 2 with 16 gigs of memory for $400, an iPad Air 2 with 64 gigs for $500, or an iPad 2 with 128 for $580. An iPad Mini 4, here's a good deal. iPad Mini 4 with 128 gigs for $499. That's not bad, because I think mine was $650. So that's $150 off.
Wow.
Yeah. Save $100 off of all Apple Watch models. Save $50 off of any iPod. Apparently those are a thing. Ooh, Zag Folio keyboards for iPad are $50 to $60 off. Now those average around $100, so that means they're going to be 40 or $50 for a Zag Folio keyboard. I'm using a Zag keyboard for my iPad right here. I'll hold it up to the camera. You can see the actual iPad part comes off, and it attaches to the keyboard. The keyboard is, I don't know if that shows up on camera, but the keyboard is, oh, well, I think the keyboard battery is dead and my backlight's not working. But the keyboard will normally backlight, but I think I think the battery is so depleted that it's refusing to yeah, it's flashing red. It's refusing to backlight. So what I'm going to do is take this charger, plug it in, and see if that will allow it to backlight. Which is odd, because now I haven't, there it goes. Now I haven't charged this, so there it is with the keyboard lit up. I guess it kind of shows up on camera. I haven't charged this in probably a couple of months. The battery life on this thing is amazing. You charge it for an hour, and they claim, without the backlight, they claim 6 months to a year of battery life, and with the backlight, with the backlight, I get probably a couple of months. So yeah, I've just had to slap it on charge now. So yeah, $50 to $60 off of a Zag Folio keyboard. That's a good deal. Apple Watch accessories by Zag, Mophie, and Xdora are up to 50% off, and select life-proof free cases are $30 off, which isn't bad, seeing as they're, $120 for one of those life-proof cases. It's not bad.
Yeah, I think I need to get a real case for my phone.
Do you? Yeah. Well, why? What do you have? Do you have a case or not?
Just a little cute It's like around the back and over the corners. No, it's not like anything. It's just a little cute, but it's not.
What kind of janky Android?
Not,
yeah. What kind of janky Android thing do you have?
Glass. Janky Android phone. It's an Note 4 Edge.
Amazon.com. A Note 4 Edge. Really?
Yeah.
Man.
One you told me not to get. Remember, I texted you because I was on the Note 3, I think. I think it's a Note 4.
Let's see if I'm trying to see if Magpul make a case for that phone, but I doubt they do. They make cases for good phones. No, they don't. That's a shame. I've started using Magpul cases on my phones. Magpul are they actually make tactical accessories like rifle magazines and rifle sights and things like that.
Okay.
They make tactical gear, but they also make phone cases, and their phone cases are designed to look like their AR-15 magazines. They're really cool, and they're really durable and super tough, and they make them in orange. And you know, me and orange go together like
yeah.
go together like
no.
Go together like something.
Shit?
No, that would be the complete. Yeah, well, I guess like stink on shit.
Yeah.
I suppose. Let's see products.
See what I did there? See what I made a funny and it made sense and it was ugly because orange is ew.
Well, I mean, you said a statement.
I did make a statement.
Yeah, I don't know that it was funny.
It was fun.
Funny. All right, so Magpul do make cases for the Galaxies. They make one for the S6, the S5, the S4, Galaxy S4. What do you have?
The Note 4 Edge.
Oh, fuck that.
It's the one with the swoopy side.
Yeah, that's the massive thing. That's the really big ones, right?
I mean, it's not huge, but yeah, it's a phablet.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What a
oh, their iPad mini cases are on sale. Clearance, $13.50.
Are you on Amazon?
No, I'm at magpul.com.
Oh.
So I'm going to go to Amazon. I'm going to actually say what?
Have you been using your Amazon Prime?
I have, yes. Yeah, I've used it to watch videos and I've used it to order things.
Yay!
It's brilliant. So yeah, thank you, Danny.
Welcome.
Free Amazon Prime. Well, not free.
Right.
Not that Amazon listens. Yeah, on Amazon. Oh, $12.99 on Amazon. I don't know if that's Prime eligible. How do you know if it's Prime eligible? Does it say?
If it's got the little check mark, yeah.
Well, a little check mark.
Like, hang on. There will be.
Oh, I'm not logged in. I'm not logged in on this machine. So it's the reason it's not. It's asking me if I want.
It should still.
Yeah, it's asking me if I want 2-day Prime instead of saying, or if I was logged in, it would say, oh, 2-day. This is Prime eligible.
Gotcha.
So $12.99 on Amazon and $13.50 on Magpul with shipping. So I'm still better off with Amazon. I'm going to order one of those tomorrow, and I'm going to order the orange one that matches my orange phone case. Mm-hmm.
What are you ordering?
The Magpul field case for the iPad mini.
Okay.
I won't be able to use this keyboard with it, but you know, I'll just pop it out and pop it in the keyboard when I need to use the keyboard.
Right.
We'll see.
Make sacrifices.
Yeah, or I just won't order it. Anyway, we've gone way over. We
have gone over.
Yep.
Again.
Guys, I'm sorry that JaNice could not make it tonight. You know, I guess that's the life of somebody running for office. I will certainly keep in touch with her this week and I guess do whatever I can to get her on next week.
You should do a live remote and go to where she is.
Go to where she is. You know, the Scott does, these guys do live remotes. Ladies Talk does them on a regular basis. They go to a location and do the show. I have a hard enough time getting it right here.
Well, I think we would first need to determine the difference between a live remote and stalking.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. But yeah, maybe we should do live remotes. You could come do a live remote from my house.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, from up in the Minnesota. Do you have internet
Yeah.
up there though?
I mean, we call it internet.
It's kind of what I figured.
When I'm watching Cowie, we buffer a lot.
Yeah. and the last thing you want to do is buffer while you're watching Towie. That's funny.
For real.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Anyway,
don't wanna leave
guys,
your friends hanging.
let me wrap up the show, Dan, and then you and I will say goodbye off air.
Okay.
So we've gone way over. Obviously our plans for tonight fell through. JaNice, though, I really hope will be on next week. So and I'll keep you guys updated on Facebook. Next week's show will be my birthday, and I've spent this entire year thinking I was 46. However, I'm not. I'm 45, and I'm about to turn 46. So apparently, I'm going to be 46 again. So yeah, hell, maybe we'll do a little. I don't know. It won't be a birthday celebration, but it'll be something. We'll do. I don't know. No, we won't do shit. We're just gonna talk about tech and stuff like that. Thanks for listening, guys. And we'll see you next week. Oh, don't forget the morning show tomorrow. Then latest talk on Thursday, and me again next week. Whoa. We'll see you then. Okay. We're off air.
Last year, I had to prove to Kurt how old he did. The exact same thing. He thought he was a year older already.
Right.
And I had to prove to him by counting on my fingers.
Yeah.
And it was 46.
Yeah.
When he was turning, he thought he was already 46, fixing to be 47. I said, no, honey, you're going to be 46, and had to count on my fingers, like, to show him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
anyway,
ridiculous.
All right, I'll let you go so you can lock this thing down.
All right. Well, say goodnight to YouTube.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Say goodnight to. Well,
good night, YouTube.
you're
Good night,
kind of
YouTube.
on YouTube, but you can say goodnight to
Oh,
him.
yeah, I am. Good night, YouTube.
Morning, Wood.
Bye.
Good night, Dan. Bye. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, or thanks for watching the replay. We appreciate it. And we'll be here next week again, hopefully with JaNice VanNess. Sorry about tonight. She just could not get away from that commission meeting. And we'll talk to Oz about that rubbish, right, Scott? We'll talk to Oz about that. Keeping her at the meetings too late. We'll see you next week.